Man, listen, I was just out here drinking a little Voodoo Ranger, maybe partaking in some devil's lettuce, just trying to have a good Saturday afternoon. You know what I mean? Lo and behold, just minding my business. I said, let me go on Twitter real quick. Let me just see what's happening on the cesspool that is X.com. And what do you know? We have another update on Carmelo Anthony. And it's an interesting one. Now, I was under the impression that this whole claim of indigency would have been denied by a judge. But lo and behold, it has been approved. Ladies and gentlemen, come with me as we cover Carmelo Anthony possibly being able to have a public defender after raising $540,000 on the way to 1.4 million. Let's go ahead and check this thing out. So, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick update. I went on Twitter and I thought if I'm just figuring this out right now, y'all gonna figure this out with me as well. Okay? Sarah Fields on the case. I don't know how she's able to find this stuff out so quickly, but over time, I've realized that almost damn near all the information I've seen through Sarah Fields is accurate. So take it as you will. Sarah Fields says breaking. According to Carmelo Anthony's advocacy group, his application for indigent status was approved. And she just shows a picture of the community that I'm assuming that he lives in, and that's it. Bro, let's just unpack that shit real quick. It's been approved. You know the people who get indigency like claims approved? Those are people like Wade Wilson. Those are people like Daryl Brooks. Those are people who don't have any money, bro. Let's just go to the definition real quick. Let's understand what this word really means, right? We go to good old fashioned Google because Google helps us with everything in our lives, right? It says indigent, poor, needy. That's it. There's no sentence to it. Do you know how poor you have to be to not even have a fucking sentence attached to your definition? Indigent, poor, needy, not even a fucking sentence. You know why? You can't even afford the sentence. Do you understand like how how rich this family is? I'm not even saying they're rich, they're amazing, but compared to the word indigent, there's some fucking kings and queens. So I don't understand how he got approved. But I was doing some more research, and apparently it's because Carmelo Anthony doesn't have to exactly claim his parents' wealth in the case. So if their wealth isn't attached to him, then he clearly has nothing, right? So let's move forward real quick. Let's see some other information about this claim. So now I want to move on to what it actually takes to obtain such eligibility, right? Because now we have to assume that Carmelo Anthony and his family are poor, right? They're destitute, lonely, poor. They eat is rice every night. That's all they eat. White rice. They don't even get brown rice. That's how fucking poor they are, and they could barely afford that, right? So let's see what it takes to qualify. Sarah Fields had posted the document. So she says, this is the Fair Defense Plan for Collin County District Courts. On page 4 and 5, it describes eligibility for indigency. An application for indigency has to be declared truthful under the penalty of perjury. Note on page 4, it states that relatives' money cannot be considered. Now, this is the big brain explosion moment. They're like, this is the loophole that we are going to hammer. Now, let's just take this back. The only reason that I could think that they're going for this option is that they're out of money, bro. That's it. And if you go to the Give, Send, Go, that thing hasn't moved. When they first started asking, they got a little influx of a couple $100s up into a couple thousand. But ever since then, they got a few $1,000s. It has not moved, guys. It is getting scary. Let me actually go to the Give, Send, Go. So if we look at the Give, Send, Go, it's $541,245, okay? Now, 2 months ago, this was at $520,000. The money is not going up. And I think that's because a lot of people are starting to wake up at the entire fact, and they're kind of like, okay, Maybe I won't publicly denounce Carmelo Anthony. Maybe I won't say he's a dumbass who ruined his entire life, but I'm going to stop donating because I know where this is going. Okay? So the only reason I feel like they really needed to make this play and they kind of just separated him from the family financials is because they actually need a public defender. They actually use that money, guys. And I was thinking like, okay, they used 100,000 for like family needs or whatever. Like maybe they used like 80,000 to fuck off. I think at this point they used all that shit because there's no way you're letting your son file for indigency by himself as a single individual. That's crazy. But let's move forward. So the official document says the financial standards below shall be used to determine whether an accused is indigent and shall be applied equally to every accused person. An accused is presumed indigent if any of the following circumstances are present. And then we have a list of circumstances. Let's start. The accused or accused defendants are eligible to receive food stamps, Medicaid, temporary assistance for needy families, supplementary security income, or public housing. Now, come on. Public housing? Really? Do you think he qualifies for Medicaid? Really? Do you think the Anthony family is out here looking for housing? Come on. But see, this apparently is the major loophole that they get to get their son in there with because they're out of money, folks. And one thing really stood out to me when Drew Anthony had posted that post. He said, we need the money because of the financial situation, because we've been uprooted from our lives, kind of indicating that he doesn't really make the same amount of money that he used to because of this situation. It's almost like, yeah, we need to live off of this because of the situation. I'm not really making as much money anymore. If that's the case, listen, bro, shit's going to be bad for Karmelo. I'm going to tell you that much. You need to figure that out and pour some money into him because that give, send, go is not going nowhere. Number 2, the accused's net household income does not exceed 125% of the United States Department of Health and Human Services poverty guidelines. Number 3, the accused is currently serving a sentence in a correctional institution, residing in a public mental health facility, or subject to a proceeding in which administration or commitment to a mental health facility is sought, or number 4, the accused has been incarcerated for more than 14 days. If an accused does not meet any of the standards above, he or she shall still be considered indigent if the accused is unable to retain private counsel without substantial hardship to the accused or the accused dependents. And that's the main thing you want to point out right there. So basically what I'm understanding from this is that he's cut off from them. They can't handle it. The claim is that they can't handle it. My independence can no longer support me. Therefore, I'm indigent by myself, which is an absurd way of going about it. It's to think about a family that makes that much money. You don't have like some savings to put into your son, or do you feel like he's going to go to jail anyway and you don't really feel like spending that much money? I don't know. You tell me. When determining whether substantial hardship would result from having private counsel, the appointing authority shall consider the 1, nature of the criminal charges, and 2, anticipated complexity of the defense. So what I'm understanding from this, and you correct me if I'm wrong, they're basically putting him up for adoption. Not like that, but it's like, we can't really help, so please give him a public defender because he can't afford it. And the independents, us, we can't afford it either. Wild shit, bro. I'll tell you one thing. Carmelo Anthony better get on his knees and pray for that give, send, go to experience a surge in monetary gain. Because other than that, he's cooked. Do you think a public defender is going to get this boy off with 16 other cases? No, you're fucked. You're fucked. And that's because we haven't even seen evidence yet. We haven't even seen witness testimony. Looking forward to witness testimony. Obviously, the trial needs to start. whenever it starts, probably sometime next year. And this is going to show to a lot of people that this is really not as deep as a lot of people are trying to make it out to be. Really bad lapse in judgment, somebody ruined their life. That's it. But anyways, stay inside, stay safe. Make sure you guys subscribe if you made it to the end of the video. If you're looking at me right now at the end of the damn video and you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We're going to 100,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Get me a plaque right back here. I want that shit. But until then, folks, I love you guys. I'll see you later. Stay inside, stay safe. I'm out of here.